beyond the boundaries of reality, where imagination weaves dreams into existence. Welcome to Storylight. For centuries, the island of Elysium had been a place of myth and wonder, a paradise that existed only in the hearts of those who dreamed of it. It was said to be a hidden realm, a land where time stood still, where the waters shimmered with an unnatural glow, and where the ancient spirits of the world whispered their secrets to those who dared listen. Some believed it to be a utopia, a place where all wishes were granted. Others believed it to be a trap, a mirage that lured travelers to their doom. But none could prove it was real. And yet, the legends persisted. Among the many who sought the island, one young woman named Ilara had made it her life's mission to find Elysium. She had heard the stories from her grandmother, a woman who had once sailed across the seas in search of the mythical land but had returned with nothing but tales of strange lights on the horizon and whispers of forgotten gods. But Ilara was not one to be easily discouraged. She had inherited her grandmother's sense of adventure and, more importantly, her longing for something beyond the ordinary. For years, Ilara had studied the ancient texts, pieced together maps from lost civilizations, and followed every lead that spoke of the island's existence. She knew the journey would be perilous. No one who had sought the island had ever returned, and many had vanished without a trace. But Ilara's determination was unwavering. She believed that the island held the key to something greater, something that could change the world. With nothing but a ship, a crew of experienced sailors, and a map that was more myth than fact, Ilara set sail. The journey began with optimism, but the sea quickly proved to be an unforgiving foe. Days turned into weeks, and the crew began to grow restless. The waters became treacherous, the winds unpredictable, and the food supplies dwindled. But Ilara pressed on, determined to uncover the truth behind the island's mystery. It wasn't long before she began to see strange things. Phantom islands that appeared on the horizon and then vanished when they approached. Eerie lights flickering beneath the surface of the ocean, and whispers in the wind that seemed to call her name. One night, as the ship sailed under a full moon, the sea became eerily calm. The crew had grown wary, but Ilara stood at the bow, staring out into the endless horizon. It was then that she saw it. The faint outline of an island in the distance, bathed in an ethereal glow. Her heart raced. It was Elysium. As they neared the shore, the air grew thick with the scent of jasmine and salt water, and the sounds of the waves softened to a melodic hum. The island was unlike any Ilara had ever seen. The trees were tall and twisted, their leaves shimmering in hues of gold and silver. The waters around the shore were crystal clear, revealing hidden reefs and ancient statues half submerged beneath the surface. The island seemed to pulse with life, as though it were alive, breathing with the rhythms of the earth itself. Ilara and her crew stepped onto the shore, and immediately, they felt a strange sensation, an overwhelming sense of peace, as if the island was welcoming them. But as they ventured deeper into the island, they began to notice something strange. The air seemed to grow heavier, and the further they went, the more surreal everything became. The sky shimmered with an iridescent glow, and the landscape shifted and changed before their eyes. One moment, they were walking through a dense forest, and the next, they found themselves in a vast meadow filled with flowers that bloomed in impossible colors. Ilara's heart pounded as she realized that the island was not just a physical place. It was a nexus between realities, a crossroads where the boundaries of time and space no longer held sway. And the more they explored, the more they encountered remnants of the island's ancient past. Ruins of a civilization long gone. Symbols carved into stone that seemed to change when looked at from different angles. and strange, glowing pools that revealed glimpses of other worlds. But as the days passed, the crew began to feel uneasy. Strange dreams plagued them. Dreams of figures watching them from the shadows. Of whispers that seemed to call them by name. The island was not just a paradise. It was alive. And it seemed to know their deepest fears and desires. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Ilara and her closest confidant, a young man named Alistair, ventured to the center of the island. There, they found a temple. Its entrance guarded by two stone statues of creatures with wings and eyes that seemed to follow them. Inside, the walls were covered in intricate carvings depicting the rise and fall of the island's ancient inhabitants. Beings who had once lived in harmony with the island, but who had eventually been consumed by their own desires for power. At the heart of the temple stood a large, crystalline structure, pulsing with light. Ilara approached it, her hand reaching out to touch its surface. As her fingers brushed against the crystal, a surge of energy coursed through her, and the world around her shifted. She saw visions of the past, the creation of the island, the arrival of the first beings who had sought to harness its power, and the eventual destruction of their civilization as they tried to control the very force that made the island what it was. In that moment, Ilara understood the truth. The island was not just a paradise, it was a prison. The ancient beings who had once lived there had tried to manipulate its power, and in doing so, had bound themselves to the island for eternity. Their spirits still lingered, trapped within the crystal, forever watching and waiting for someone to release them. Ilara realized that the island was not a place to be conquered or controlled. It was a place to be understood, to be respected. The power it held was not meant to be wielded by mortal hands. But it was too late. Alistair, driven by the same ambition that had doomed the island's original inhabitants, reached for the crystal. In that moment, the island's energy surged, and the temple began to shake. The crystal shattered, and the ground beneath them split open, revealing a dark abyss. Ilara screamed for Alistair to stop, but it was too late. The energy of the island, once bound by the crystal, was now free. And as the island began to crumble, Ilara realized the truth of the legends. Elysium was both a paradise and a curse. A place where desires could be fulfilled, but only at the cost of one's soul. In the final moments, as the island sank into the sea, Ilara and the remaining crew managed to escape. They sailed away from the island, their hearts heavy with the knowledge that Elysium had not been a place of salvation, but a reflection of the human soul. The pursuit of perfection, the danger of unchecked ambition, and the inevitable consequences of tampering with forces beyond comprehension. As they sailed back to the mainland, Ilara looked out at the horizon, knowing that the legend of Elysium would continue to live on, both as a warning and a dream. And though they had escaped the island, its memory would haunt them forever. The story ends here, but countless others await in the vast expanse of imagination. Subscribe to Storylight for more journeys into the unknown. See you on the next adventure.